Friends, I have been sharing quite a bit the last number of days about painful negative emotions, painful negative thoughts, and painful negative feelings. They're part of the human condition, but when we're overwhelmed by the kinds of dynamics that are affecting so many people right now, we need to know how to stand firm. Paul says, be strong in the Lord, in the strength of his power. Put on the whole armor of God so that you may be able to stand against the wiles or the strategies, the carefully devised plans with a backup that come from the powers of darkness for all human beings and Satan himself. And so our struggle isn't against flesh and blood. Our struggle is against all the dynamics of what goes on in the kingdom of hell itself, which is why Jesus taught us to pray, deliver us from the evil one. But listen carefully, because the solution to dealing with the kind of negative emotions, negative thoughts that are painful, and the painful feelings that go along with them isn't always easy. And I want to say this, anytime we have to stand firm, and we have to do that frequently, it's because of a deep conviction about the truth, about our core values, about the fact that Christ died for love's sake. Christ died for peace sake. The chastisement for our peace fell upon him, and by his stripes we're healed. And a lot of times we feel like we're fighting for our lives. We want to be available to others. We want to lay our lives down for others, but we feel like this stuff prevents us from doing that. Precisely. That's the whole design of the enemy, is to prevent us from walking in love, walking in hope, walking in peace, which is why Paul, when he deals with the armor of God, he says here to put on the helmet of salvation. He tells us in Timothy that helmet is hope, the breastplate of righteousness, the girdle of truth, the shoes of peace. These are all characteristics of the fruit of the abiding Spirit, and the armor ultimately is Christ himself. And so here's what I want you to understand really quick. Instead of trying to figure out which demon is at your doorstep and which rebuke you need to use, you've got the sword of the Spirit, the Word of God. Bring it to speech frequently. But then also recognize, where am I being stressed out that these negative thoughts, painful emotions, and painful feelings are emerging? And where are they producing anxiety in my life? There's no way to be in spiritual warfare without facing stress and anxiety. Don't try to figure out which devil is bothering you. Focus on what's within your ability to face and deal with, the way Paul tells us to. Look at what's stressing you, look at what's making you anxious, and if you need help from a caring other, get some help to unpack the cycles of anxiety and the cycles of stress. But keep this simple and keep the Word of God on your lips. Pray the Psalms, declare the Psalms, pray the Lord's Prayer, pray in the Spirit. But recognize, and then take up that shield of faith and realize you're not the only one. We're all facing painful, negative things all the time. But guess what? We're not alone. He's with us. We're with one another, and we're all going to make it. I pray you have a blessed weekend.